Hey everyone, so I wanted to talk to you about rolling your clay out with something like a rolling pin or something else that could just be a smooth, like a cylinder kind of thing. So I have a rolling pin in front of me. I have my cards. I have both the 4-inch square as well as the 3.5-inch square. I have the beginnings of my slip over here. So I have my little container with some water in it, and ultimately I'm going to put a chunk of clay. I'm going to cover that and seal it for right now, but I'm going to start to get that going so I'll have slip ready when I need it. Okay, so if you're rolling this out, you should have your popsicle sticks, and this is actually between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch height. So I know that this is bigger than the size that I need, which is fine, because all I have to really worry about is that particular space. So I took a small clump of clay and I'm wedging it to make sure I get out all the air bubbles. And as long as I'm wedging it, I'm also going to make sure that I start to flatten it out, which is going to help me with the rolling process. So what I shall do is I'm spreading these out a little bit, no wider than, of course, the width of whatever it is I'm using to roll, which should be bigger than 4 inches. And I am just rolling it out. Now, notice that the rolling pin itself is going to sit on top of both of these. So that way, as I begin to roll it, and I can actually turn this, it's not going to go any thinner than the side of these, which I have a total of, they're like 3 of like the popsicle sticks. So I want to make sure everything is nice and smooth and flat. And once I have that, and it looks good, then I am ready to take, and again, if it's not big enough, then you need more clay. If it's really too much, I only took a small little piece of that clay, guys. So then I'm going to use my skewer, or if you have a hobby knife or something else, and I am going to cut my clay. If you get like those, like the little clay crumbs, just put them to the side. So I have my 3 sides, keeping in mind all of this extra clay that you have, guys, you need to hang on to. You won't have enough clay if you don't keep it. So I have, those are my scraps, okay? So with the scrap pieces, I'm gonna re-roll them into a ball so they help maintain the moisture. Okay, so I have all my pieces. I'm gonna take a piece of paper towel. You can put it under the sink. I just have a bowl of water. I'm going to squeeze out the excess just so it stays moist. Okay, and I'm going to take this little bit of clay. I'm going to re-wrap it up and put it in a separate Ziploc bag. I have a couple little piles of that clay, and again, I have them all wrapped individually to make sure they stay the way they need to. Okay, so now that I have my 4-inch square over here, so there's a little piece of something on it. This I want to make sure that I wrap up. So with the wrapping of this, it's the same thing, guys. Let me wrap some earlier. I'm going to take it and I am going to make sure that I wrap it thoroughly. So this is the thickness right there. That's the thickness of it. And I'm going to talk to you next about the pieces that are a little bit thinner. This too should go in a separate Ziploc bag. So I'll put that to the side. Okay. I need some that are a little bit smaller now. So that being noted, if you're going to do this, I just, whatever, as soon as I'm done with something, I wrap it up right away, only because I know that this clay is thin and the moisture releases from it quickly. So I'm going to put my water just to the side. And I'm going to re-wedge this clay. So for those of you who are working remotely and you're using these popsicle sticks, if you want, you can actually take one of these sticks off, so it's only the height of it is 2. Less clay because it'll be a little bit thinner. Okay, so same thing, if you do that, you would do that with the 2 of them. All right, and I am going to use my rolling pin. Put all my other things to the side. I like turning it. It just makes it easier for me. If you make them all this thick, guys, it's going to be too heavy. So this is just the basis to go by. You might want to roll out your 4-inch ones first and then remove a popsicle stick. So that way it is a little bit thinner. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of ensuring that I have what I need. Now, if you want to, you just have to retape it together as you do your next one. But just so you know, you can kind of quickly pull these apart as needed. I just used masking tape on some of them. I believe I used Scotch tape. And so just to kind of make it so it's easier to work with. So I'm going to pull these apart quickly. Might take you a minute. Some of this tape was really sticky and some of it really was not. Okay, so here's one of my popsicle sticks that has 2 on that side. And I have one over here just for the sake of saving time. All right, so 2 and 2. You can tape those back together if that's easier for you. I'm just going to go with it to save some time. Okay, so I am re-rolling. And now this is 2 popsicle sticks. Okay, so I'm going to just turn it. Again, one on top of the other. And I'm making sure that it's the same now. Again, I didn't finish up here, so I can just either change my direction of my cloth or I can just move my popsicle sticks to make sure that it's an even thickness all the way around. Okay, once I have that, guys, this is definitely thinner, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 3.5-inch one on top. Please keep in mind, guys, anytime you have residue, you have like leftover clay, save it. You will need it so you have enough to finish off with. Make sure it's a nice clean cut. And look at that. You got your other square. So this, of course, you're going to scrunch up so you have all of it back together. You're going to put it in a wet paper towel, as this one is. And then you are going to seal this in one Ziploc bag. This one, I'm going to, of course, grab another piece of paper towel. But I just want to show you the different sizes. So every time I'm done working with a piece, because these dry out so quickly, you want to make sure, and I'm going to show you, you can see there is a distinct difference in the thickness of the two. The smaller one is thinner than the larger. Okay, so then I have my one here, and then ultimately this is going to be the piece that I make a shape out of. And then I can also cut a third one to put my letter onto the same size. I gave you a third size shape, and you may not need that 3-inch one. This is 4 inches, this is 3.5. Okay, we're going to move into the next demonstration in a short bit. Right now, I'm just going to show you again about putting your clay and sealing it. Make sure if you combine 2 together, like I'm going to do right here, you want to make sure that the clay pieces, oopsie, I'll do it so you can better see it. Sorry about that. So you actually have this completely covered. So if you add the second piece of clay on top of it, just for storage purposes right now, the two will stick together if they're not separated by that paper. So please make sure that you do that. And then this, of course, this absolutely, even though it's going to go in my plastic tote, and I have a plastic tote right here, this still has to go in a Ziploc bag to make sure that everything stays sealed and the moisture stays in the clay. So not only do you want to put it in your bag, you need to make sure it is sealed. Okay, so there we go.